those vets that how glad and how happy they would be to see what we do today to show our love for our veterans, not only in Collier County, but pretty much everywhere you look. I will say, if anybody saw the Naples Daily News today, it said how to thank a veteran on Veterans Day. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to thank a veteran on Veterans Day. I want to thank a veteran every day. And if we look at it that way, we'll just keep going the way we are, which is great. 30 plus years ago, when this Veterans Memorial was built, there might have been 20 people here at the first ceremony. And I look at it today, and I look around us, and I say, thank you, God, for doing this. Thank you all, and God bless you.
We're here today. Okay, just so everybody knows, when you're out here, because we're in the sun and we're in the heat, there is water out here. So if you need something to drink, hydrate yourself. We did make sure that we brought enough water here, at least for people to get some hydration. Because I really would hate to see somebody dehydrate and pass out on this watch. So please do. I'm honored to be speaking with you today on such an important occasion. We are here today to honor our service members and to remember their sacrifices that they made the courage to take to defend, honor, duty, and country. I already said that, but I said it again. So we're here today to honor our heroes, to remember their achievements, their courage, and their dedication, and to say thank you for their sacrifices. Thinking of the heroes who join us in this group today and those who are only here in spirit, a person can't but feel awed at the enormity of what we encounter. We stand in the midst of patriots and the family and friends of those who have nobly served. Today I invited two very special VIPs to our ceremony, so when I call your name, will you please stand up? Is Harold Pappy Wagner here? All right. A corporal in the U.S. Marines who served with the 21st Regiment, 3rd Marine Division. He was in the Battle of Iwo Jima, pinned down under gunfire from a sniper for the day and a half, and his friend was Elmer Mueller, I hope I got that right, from Detroit, Michigan, jabbed him in the ribs and said, hey, Elmer, or excuse me, hey, look, we are raising the flag on Mount Sriracha. This was one of the most iconic monuments built in Washington, D.C., showing the pride and honor to the Marines hosting the American flag during the grueling fight in Iwo Jima. Pappy was at that time 18 and is now at a young age of 94. Thank you, Pappy. Captain Wayne Smith, U.S. Air Force, flew with the 435th Tactical Fighter Squadron and was forced to eject over North Vietnam while flying his 90th combat mission, January 18, 1968. And on his last mission, Captain Smith was credited with shooting down a MiG-17 in aerial combat before his aircraft was shot down. He was immediately captured and taken as prisoner of war and spent the next 1,882 days in captivity before being released during Operation Homecoming on March 4, 1973. Wayne Smith is a good friend of mine, and every day we should always welcome him home. Welcome home, Wayne. I would now like all the service members and veterans who are here with us to stand, because in my eyes, you're VIPs as well. So could I get every veteran in that group out there in the audience to please give a stand? Thank you for answering the call to duty. You have made our armed forces the most respected in the world. Please be seated. Now I'd also like to ask all family members, spouses, mothers, fathers, brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles of any service member to stand. We know you have lived through difficult times and often taken a heavy load to keep the home fire burning. So Veterans Council would like to thank you for what you've done. So everybody has had somebody in their family that served. Please stand. And that's probably be about everybody in this audience. Thank you. Please be seated. The service members we honor today came from all walks of life, but they share several fundamental qualities. They possess courage, pride, determination, selflessness, dedication to the duty and integrity. All the qualities needed to cause for a cause much larger than oneself. Many of them didn't ask to have their home, didn't ask to leave their homes to fight on distant battlefields. Many didn't even volunteer. They didn't go to war because they loved fighting. They were called to be a part of something bigger than themselves. They were ordinary people who responded in extraordinary ways. In extreme times, they rose to the nation's call because they wanted to protect a nation which has given them, which has given all of you so much. Since the first shots at Lexington and Concord were fired in our Revolutionary War, American men and women have been answering the nation's call to duty. Millions of Americans have fought and died on the battlefields here and abroad to defend our freedoms and our way of life. Today, our troops continue to make the ultimate sacrifice. And even though we lose troops, more Americans step forward to say, I'm ready to serve. They follow in the footsteps of generations of fine Americans. Veterans Day was called Armistice Day, was originally designated as a day of celebration to end World War I. The first war ended November 11, 1998. And the legislation that created Veterans Day was, and I quote, dedicated to a cause of world peace and to be hereafter celebrated and known as Armistice Day. Now, if I say Armistice Day, because I always hear people say, oh, he pronounces it wrong, I'm sorry, I'm from Los Angeles, and I guess that's how I say it. So. As time went on, and we engaged in further conflicts during World War II, Korea, veterans, groups lobbied for change. Rather than honoring Armistice Day and only those who served in World War I, the holiday would now honor all veterans from every war and conflict in the United States had encountered. We honored our troops and their service and sacrifice ever since. That is why we call this Veterans Day. Veterans Day for me comes a lot of pride. My family goes back generations upon generations of those that served. Same as a lot of people out here. But they've all served for one cause only, and that's for our freedoms. The freedoms that we all cherish. The freedoms that give us different rights. The freedoms that let us go forward and become the people that we are today. To make it greater. Those veterans are, like we said earlier today in the ceremony, as the mayor put it, are only celebrated once a year on Veterans Day. But as I see it, and as I seen it before I became a veteran, I saw it in everyday event. Every time I seen a veteran, you can ask my family, every time I see a veteran, every time I walk out there, I've always shook a hand. I've always said, I'm proud of you, and I always say, welcome home to those that served in Vietnam. I've done this over and over, years and years have gone by, and I will continue to do the same. As of right now, if I can ask everyone to please stand. Let us all welcome Alan Forbus from Grove Church to lead with the invocation.
Let us pray. Father, we thank you so much for this occasion that we have today to stand united together, Father, in honor and memory of those who have served this country. Father, we just thank you that you first showed us how to love. You showed us how to give as you gave your only Son, Christ, that we could have freedom, that we could have redemption for our sins. And Father, as we go through these ceremonies today, Father, may this be a special day for those who had given their lives to protect our freedom, those, Father, that have served on foreign soil and on our own soil as well. Father, today we pray for our great United States of America, Father, that you would cause us to remain united. Father, that you would touch our president down to our first responders today, Father, everyone in any office in America today, Father, may we stand in unity. And Father, may we each and every day of our life remember those who have fought, who have served to keep our freedom, that we can have freedom to worship you, freedom to live without looking over our shoulders, Father, that we can leave our homes in the morning knowing that we have safety to live another day. Thank you that your Son has shined upon us again today, Father. Bless the proceedings that go forth, Father, today in this ceremony. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Please remain standing. Presentation of colors from the Naples PD and honor guard from JROTC. Boy Scouts will now lead in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Cheers.
Let us all welcome Danielle Tompkins singing the national anthem.
Stripes and bright stars, round about the sky. Oh, the mountains we watched were so gallantly straight, and the rockets red glare, no bombs bursting in air. It
Airman First Class Jordan Tompkins and Sergeant Kerr, please post the colors with the veteran groups and organizations. All could be seated. Now I'm going to make this next one here kind of fun. The next topic we're going to bring up is going to be back old memories from some of us as veterans. So all the veterans in the audience are welcome to participate with us. And if I could get the board of directors, everybody standing right out here in the center, I want to call them of 6. So everybody from the board of directors, every veteran that's sitting up here, I should see you guys standing right out here. And when I say that, I mean right out here, guys. On a row of 6. Face it out. All the veterans that are in the audience, stand up. This is going to be fun, believe me. And anybody else that wants to come up here and stand up here in this line, just take a line right behind them. Come on up here. I'm asking people to come up and participate. So all the veterans that are out there, come on up here. If you can walk on up here with us. We don't bite, believe me. Well, I might bite. I don't know. You sit right behind each and every one of the individuals there. Look at this. First time I'm trying this, and it's working out very well, so I'm proud.
Number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Hey, do I have somebody from EMS here? If they could please make their way up to the podium. Anybody from EMS? Is there a nurse? Anybody out here?
Ladies and gentlemen, this is an honor for me to be able to do this, especially with so many service heroes amongst us. I guess I'm humbled right now. And albeit I'm going to give Jerry Sanford a pass today. Okay, he'll get enlisted again tomorrow once he feels better. Everybody who joins the United States military has one thing in common. They must swear in by repeating the oath of enlistment. The oath of enlistment is something that every service member must promise, adhere to, and take seriously throughout his or her entire military career. You may have heard the analogy, you'll be signing a blank check to Uncle Sam, payable up to and including your life. Well, some people in this gallery of recruits may have been drafted. Some may have looked for a job, decided the military. Some court judge may have said, you have an option. Just want to serve their country. Ladies and gentlemen, by taking this oath, you can see that you'll be defending the Constitution, not one individual. Discipline and accepting orders is sworn to. The oath of enlistment should not be taken lightly. You remain obligated to that service until discharged. Technically, it expires once your enlistment is up. However, always remember, your oath never expires. It is your duty to protect and defend the Constitution against all enemies, both foreign and domestic. Are you all willing to take this oath freely and live by it from this day forward? Please raise your right hand. Please state your name and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same. That I will obey the orders of the President of the United States and the orders of the officers appointed above me, according to regulations and the Uniform Code of Military Justice. So help me God. You are now enlisted.
Bells of Peace, a World War I remembrance. The World War I Centennial Commission, along with the Pritzker Military Museum and Library, the Society of the Honor Guard from the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, the National Cathedral, the American Legion, and the VFWs announced a nationwide bell tolling on November 11th as a solemn reminder of the sacrifice and service of veterans of the Great War and all veterans. More than 4 million American families sent their sons and daughters to serve in uniform during the Great War. At the end of the war, 116,516 U.S. soldiers gave their lives in combat, with another 200,000 wounded, a casualty rate far greater than that in World War II. More than 350,000 African Americans served in the U.S. military, as did Native Americans and members of many minority groups. And for the first time, women joined the ranks of the United States Armed Forces. Bells of Peace, a World War I remembrance, encourages citizens and organizations across this great nation to toll bells in their communities 21 times at 11 a.m. local time on November 11th, marking the centennial of the armistice that brought an end to hostilities and what Americans fervently hoped had been the war to end all wars. The nationwide program is designed to honor American men and women who served 101 years ago during World War I, especially the 116,516 who died. Bells of Peace is a great grassroots effort within communities. We as veterans can respectfully do this to recognize those veterans who served in World War I. World War I took place between July 1914 and November 1918, and is among the deadliest conflicts in the world history. The United States officially entered the war on April 6, 1917. Some 4.7 million Americans stepped forward to serve in uniform, of which 2 million deployed overseas to fight. So again, during today's ceremony, we will stop exactly 11 a.m., whatever we are doing, and we will ring the bells of peace. And we have a special flyover from U.S. Air Force Major Jessica Stearns. Thank you.
Today we have a guest speaker at today's ceremony who's a brother and a veteran friend of mine. At this moment, he won't be up here on the podium, but I want to tell you a little bit about the man. He served in the U.S. Navy for 6 years and in NYPD for 3 years, with another 50 years in the fire department, totaling 59 years of experience in military law enforcement as a firefighter and a first responder. We call him our bona fide true superhero, no cape needed. For his not being able to speak at this time, his good friend, Alan Silva, will be coming up here to speak on his behalf. So if I could get Alan to please come on up. This is a reminder, everybody, please drink water, keep hydrated. We seriously need you to do that for us.
If I say the word I, please interpret it as Jerry Sanford saying these words. It is an honor to speak to you this morning as we remember all those who served and defended our nation so that we could be here today. In 2000, Jerry retired to Southwest Florida after 30 years of service in the New York Fire Department. It didn't take long for him to start a second career and become involved in local interests. Jerry was eventually approached by county commissioners as that New York guy and asked to start a task force to develop and build the Freedom Memorial, which is located in Freedom Park on Golden Gate Parkway and Goodland Frank Road. You may have driven by this enormous granite flag without knowing what it was about. Jerry would like me to point out to you today and invite you to stop by and walk the perimeter of this beautiful memorial. It is built for American service members who have defended our nation, some of whom have paid the ultimate price. It is also a living legacy to the victims and first responders, 343 of whom were his fellow firefighters who perished at the World Trade Center on 9/11. Jerry would like you to save this date, please. December 14th at noon. There will be a Wreaths Across America ceremony at the Freedom Memorial. Veterans representing each branch of service will be placing wreaths at the base of this memorial. Many of these veterans involved in the ceremony are members of another great organization, Homer's Annex. Homer's Annex began to fill a void created after Homer Helter passed away. When Homer's Military Museum closed, the veterans who spent their days at Homer's were left without a place to go and speak, gather, and share stories. Several local advocates for veterans formed an organization called Gulf Coast Veterans and Friends and launched what is now known as Homer's Annex, which hosts a weekly Saturday morning meetup. We provide coffee, camaraderie, and a conduit and services for outreach programs to local veterans. We've helped fill the gap for veterans who need services but slip through the cracks, and even help connect veterans in crisis to life-saving intervention services. When one of our veterans needs help in something, they notify us. We will make calls and help find solutions. No man or woman should feel deserted or abandoned by Force veterans and friends, the Freedom Memorial, and Veterans Services, please contact Jerry or myself after this service. Pick up a light blue flyer that will have contact information so that you can get further involved or seek help if needed. Jerry wishes to his fellow veterans and their families a big thank you for your service. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America. Thank you very much.
Thanks for filling in. Just so everybody knows, Jerry's going to be okay. For precautionary reasons, they just took him to make sure that he's well hydrated and everything's fine with him. So thank you very much, Alan. We appreciate your time up here. So I don't make this mistake that I was just told about and I almost forgot, but I'm going to let you know, last Sunday was the United States Marine Corps' birthday, so happy birthday, Marines! Hoorah! Perfect timing to say that because we're going to have a special reading from Kimberly Coppola, Sergeant, U.S. Marine Corps veteran, and Valerie House representative with Austin Wolin, previously from the Veterans JROTC program, and currently with Valerie House as well. So, Kimberly, make your way to the podium.
Good morning. This ceremony is kind of what people in the military do. You have to adapt to all of the situations that come in front of you. So thanks for your patience. And thank you, Chief, for letting me speak today. In 1985, I went into boot camp as a young, naive 18-year-old girl. In January 1986, I emerged and was forever labeled a United States Marine. And that has been very special to me and one of my greatest achievements. While I was in the Marine Corps, I learned a lot. I learned how to get along with people. I learned how to adapt. I learned self-control and discipline. I learned how to lead, and I learned how to follow directions. One of the greatest things that I learned that I've taken throughout my entire life is I learned that you're only as strong as your weakest link. And therefore, you've got to take care of every man in front of you, or woman, and back of you. Back, women and men, I didn't mean it like that. I'm a little nervous. I'd like to thank all of the veterans today, and I'd like to thank also all of the men and women serving abroad all around the world and in the United States for all of the sacrifices that you have made. All should be recognized, and again, we thank you. It is now my pleasure to introduce to you a very special young man. He served in the ROTC, and he's also a family member at Valerie's house. Let me introduce to you Austin Wolin. Thank you.
Before I get started with this speech, I would like to personally thank every single one of you that is a veteran, a family member of a veteran, a Gold Star family, or an active member. Thank you. Hello, it is an honor to be here. My name is Austin Wolin. Last year, I graduated from Island Park High School with an ROTC rank of Private First Class. I am in Valerie's house. Valerie's house is a grief support group. I had lost my father. When I was 12 years old. I strive to be an Army medic because I was performing CPR on my father and treating him for CPR, stroke, and a seizure at 12 years old. Ever since then, I strive to be an Army medic. I had signed my contract about a year ago as a 68 Charlie area practical nursing specialist. Unfortunately, I didn't cut weight. You can see I'm a little skinny, but I have so much envy to go into the military because it has helped so many people, and it is one of my dreams to serve and protect the country that has given us these freedoms that we have today to where we can even be at an event like this. May God bless every single military that's active. May God bless every veteran. May God bless America. Thank you.
This old welcome in tribute to Vietnam veterans, Steve Smith singing "Welcome Home, Heroes Among Us."
Young man in uniform, coming home from a foreign war. Never really known why, or what he was fighting for. Just standing up for freedom and this country on a cold and distant shore. As he walks off of the airplane to this busy place, a pretty little hippie girl with blonde hair full of grays comes up like she's gonna hug him, and then yells "baby killer" and spits right in his face. That's the story my daddy tells of his return from Vietnam. No ticker tape parade, no welcome home or shaking hands. Just shamed and forgotten by his country, like no one gave a damn. Even as a young boy, knew that was wrong. All these unsung heroes were just trying to get along. And it's about time someone spoke up for them all, gave them all a song. There are heroes among us. They're people you may know. They heard the call of freedom and they chose to go. Yes, there are heroes among us, with faces old and new, that laid down their lives for me and you. So wherever you may see them, wherever you may roam, it's time that we say thank you for your service. Welcome home. Father and a mother, husband and a wife, brothers, sisters, sons and daughters, all with families and lives. But they all put on that uniform, made that sacrifice. Wherever there is trouble that threatens liberty, whether right here in our neighborhood or far across the sea, you can bet they're right there giving all they got, fight to keep us free. They are heroes among us. They're people you may know. They heard the call of freedom and they chose to go. Yes, they are heroes among us, with spirits tried and true, that laid down their lives for me and you. So wherever you may see them, wherever you may roam, it's time that we say thank you for your service and welcome home. Now I know we salute them on Memorial and Veterans Days. I see them when they're marching in the 4th of July parade. But you know there's 362 other days in the year for our thanks to be displayed. So if you've ever worn a uniform, stand up, proud and tall. We're glad that you were there. when our backs were against the wall. And we want you to know we salute you. We appreciate you all. 'Cause you are heroes among us. And now you know we know that you heard the call of freedom and you chose to go. Yes, you are heroes among us. For red, white, and blue, you laid down your lives just doing what you do. So wherever we may see you, wherever you may roam, it's time that we said thank you for your service. Welcome home. Welcome home. We thank God for you. Welcome home.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for coming out today on this beautiful day that the Lord has given us for us to congregate, to come together for the common good, to appreciate those that have gone before us, and for those that are still currently serving. And we may never forget the sacrifice, the work, the ethic, everything that goes in to protecting our freedom, to enjoy this very park that's around you as you look to your left and right. Every morning I wake up and brush my teeth, I thank the Lord that He's given us another beautiful day. But still to this day, I don't forget to thank the veterans that have protected our freedoms and given us that very right to wake up as a free man and brush my teeth and do with what my day that I feel is important, the fact that I have the privilege, to do so. So without further ado, I want to just take a moment to embarrass Chief, because he gave me the mic, and it's probably the last time he'll do so. Those that don't know Bill Carl might know him by Chief.
Don't say Bill.
Chief Carl has not only served his country for how many years, Chief? 31 years. But thank you, yes. But then took it upon himself to answer a second call of duty, to continue to serve his country and make a great example of what a true hero looks like, and continue to give back to his community and to the veterans around him. Chief Carl has been the chief of the board of directors for the last, decade or so? And I just want to publicly thank him for all the work and sacrifice and effort that goes into putting all these meetings together year after year after year, because as the operations officer of the board of directors with the Collier County Veterans Council, that might sound like a fancy title, but reality is without Chief, none of this would really happen. And so if I can, I'm going to ask you guys, you've stood and you know, up and down a lot, but if we can just stand and give Chief a thank you for what he does for this community, I think it's well deserved.
Thanks, Lois. Now I can get the mic. I was trying to push him out there. Thank you all. That was very kind of you. Kind of you, Jordan, for saying something like that. I don't deserve that, but that was very, very kind of you. Right now, I'd like to change it to presentation of the POW MIA Memorial Wreath. Veteran Service Officer, Staff Sergeant Irene Johnson, U.S. Air Force. Veteran and Captain Wayne Smith, U.S. Air Force Veteran POW. If you guys could bring the wreath on up and post it, please. We have approximately 2 minutes before the flyover, so let's get our next reading here. And I got a feeling the flyover is probably coming very soon because I can hear a plane coming over. I'm not sure. If I could ask, 1 minute. Okay, we got 1 minute till. All right. If I could ask Sergeant First Class Jesse Meyers, U.S. Army veteran, if you could come up, take the mic for 1 minute.
Thank you, Chief. My name is Sergeant First Class Jesse Meyers, United States Army. Thank you to the Collier County, Naples community for what you're doing for veterans. My minute is going to go awesomely fast. So, I've recently completed my service in 2018 and moved down to Florida from the Midwest. So, I'm really thankful for this hot weather. But I wanted to say a few words about what service means. Not only for our previous service members, but our current serving and our future serving service members. And that is the symbolism of it all. So we talk about the flag and we talk about the values of each service member's. Here's the flyover.
Military precision, young recruit.
That was outstanding. So, I just wanted to mention that our service is the symbolism. What we stand for has been and always will be something of significance that will never die. So, as many have said, thank everybody every day for what they do, past, present, and future. Thank you.
Right now, symbolism that we're going to be giving is the ringing 21 times of the bell. The chimes will ring at this time. I ask everybody, please take a moment of silence. Think about those who paid the ultimate sacrifice and those of them that are still serving today. Giancarlo Roggiero.
Giancarlo.
Roggiero. Staff Sergeant, JROTC Program and Civil Air Patrol. Could you please take the mic and have a few words as well?
I'm a little short, so bear with me. Good morning, everyone. My name is Second Lieutenant Giancarlo Roggiero. I'm the Civil Air Patrol Air Force Auxiliary. First off, I would like to thank the Collier County Veterans Council and Chief William Carl for giving me this opportunity to go ahead and speak to each and every one of you today. And most of all, I would like to thank my veterans, the men and women who've given their lives so I might have the freedoms that I have today. My dream is to become a pilot in the U.S. military. I've loved the military ever since I could remember. I know the stories of the men and women who went ahead and gave up their youth, their families, and sometimes their lives for this country, this beautiful country that we call America. I've heard of the stories of the beaches of Normandy and the jungles of Vietnam. I know the flag and the uniform that you see me wearing today, and those who have worn it and those who will wear in the future, We raise our heads high and salute you all. The military has impacted my life in so many ways. For example, my closest friend, Sean Phillips, he's graduated from Air Force boot camp and is now following his dream and becoming to the United States Air Force. A second example is one that means very true to my heart. Her name is Chelsea Pereira. She's been like an own mother to me. She's right now in Camp May Coast Guard basic training. With a heavy heart, I'd like to say and honor, and I have the privilege to go ahead and speak to each and every one of you. Veterans, the men and women who laid down their lives so that I might have the freedoms that I have today. I proudly raise my head high and salute you all. Thank you.
Nice. Special reading now we're going to have from the Latin American Motorcycle Association. That's Sergeant Martin. He's a U.S. Army veteran. Thank you for being here today.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and first of all, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the Collier County Veterans Council for allowing us to be here in this celebration of honor and respect to all the veterans, families, and everyone else included. What being a veteran means is not to me, it's to every veteran. I mean, it means, and it represents the opportunity, like any of the other speakers said, to be here, to enjoy the freedom that we have in this beautiful country of the United States of America. I want to thank, especially for me, personally it represents honor to my father, a Korean Army War veteran, that guided me through the paths, let's put it this way, of serving. He once told me, just become a man by serving. He was right. I think I did. He's no longer with me, but a quick story told me once, when you go to basic training, which I was scared as hell that day, he told me, remember, they're not your enemies. Their uniform says what your uniform says, U.S. Army. They just have 2 months, 3 months to make you a man. And I kept those words in my mind, and he was right. So on his honor and the honor of all the veterans here that are with us and no longer with us, thank you for this opportunity. Thank you on behalf of Latin American Motorcycle Association. We're the Lama Naples chapter. Thank you. God bless you all.
We're going to do a reading of in honor of the 13 folds of the American flag with Captain Torrey Searles, U.S. Army veteran, Erica Floral, with Command Sergeant Major James Birch, U.S. Special Forces, Corporal Jessica Lee Dang, U.S. Army veteran, Sergeant Frank Kerr, U.S. Army veteran. Following straight afterwards would be Staff Sergeant Erica Floral reading the missing man table.
The first fold of our flag is a symbol of life. The second fold signifies our belief in eternal life. The third fold is made in honor and tribute of the veteran departing our ranks and who have gave a portion of his or her life for the defense of our country to attain peace. The fourth fold exemplifies our weaker nature as citizens trusting in God. It is to him we turn for his divine guidance. The fifth fold is an acknowledgement to our country. For the words of Stephen Decatur, our country is dealing with other countries. May she always be right, but is it still our country, right or wrong? The sixth fold is for where our hearts lie. It is with our heart that we pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The seventh fold is a tribute to our armed forces, for it is through the armed forces that we protect our country and our flag against all enemies. The eighth fold is a tribute to the one who entered into the valley of the shadow of death, that we might see the light of day, and to honor our mother, for whom it flies on Mother's Day. The ninth fold is an honor to womanhood, who has been through their faith, love, loyalty, and devotion, that the character of the men and women who have made this country great have been molded. The 10th fold is a tribute to the father, for he too has given sons and daughters for the defense of our country since he or she was first born. The 11th fold, in the eyes of Hebrew citizens, represents the lower portion of the seal of King David and King Solomon in glories. In their eyes, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. The 12th fold, in the eyes of a Christian citizen, represents an emblem of eternity and glorifies in their eyes God the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. The last fold, when the flag is completely folded, the stars are upmost, reminding us of our motto, nation's motto, in God we trust. Thank you.
Hello. Those who have served and those who are currently serving are ever mindful that the sweetness of enduring peace has always been tainted by the bitterness of personal sacrifice. We are compelled to never forget that while we enjoy our daily pleasures, there are others who have endured and may still be enduring the agonies of pain, deprivation, and interment. We call your attention to this small table, which occupies a place of dignity and honor in view of all to see.
Can we cram it together?
You have to smile for a while. I got like 6.
You like each other. Cram together.
All right, 1, 2, 3. I know. One more.